definitely thank you guys for being here. And again, I hope that I'm not losing too many people with the fact that we had a little link snafu. I had thought it was put up. I got it off the calendar when I sent it out in the email, and I don't know how it got corrupted. So um, we're going to look today into doing the opportunity and the commission in command. So the commission is replacing the green sheet. So for those of you that have been with us for a little bit, you'll know that the way that the company knew what monies were coming in and how to pay somebody was that we had a green sheet. Well, they've made it now all one universal system right through command here, which makes life super, super easy. So I'm going to just show you here very quickly how to get in and do that. So from this home page, just as a little tip, if you hit the red square up here on the top, it will open a menu that'll show you the different applets that Command has so that we all know what it is without having to guess. So the first step is always to put a contact in. I'm not going to go over that part today, but the very first step to always creating all of this is to put your contact in. But where I am going to start is I'm going to start here with the opportunities. And an opportunity really is sort of like a file folder. This is a pipeline that you can use to build your business, to keep track of your listings, your buyers, your rentals, and soon to be your referrals. That is coming next, is to have a tab here for referrals. And it's a really great pipeline to be able to see at all times what your business looks like in a snapshot, and also give you over here on the right, potential and probable income. So the potential income really explains to you if absolutely everything in here closes. It'll give you an idea of how much potential income or DCI you'll have in your pipeline. And then probable income is really based on the individual phases that we have here as part of the real estate transaction. And definitely keep an eye out for an opportunities class where we go very deeply into creating the opportunity and your stages and actually having all that set up. For today's purpose, I am going to create an opportunity just to show you that first step, because there's a couple of pieces to the opportunity that will help in the long run, both for our compliance department as well as for yourself when you're searching for these files. It'll make it easier if you put in just a couple of really quick pieces of information. So I'm going to just start with creating the opportunity. And here you're going to see what it is to create the opportunity. Your market center will stay static. That's just the market center you belong to. And if you're not part of the team, there really won't be any indicators over here also. So this team section over here will not be filled in. But here is where you have to make sure, because you can't go back. So once you create the opportunity, what type you name it is extremely important, because if you select listing and it's not a listing, but you can't go back and fix that after the fact. So make sure that you're doing it correctly in this indication here. The owner is you, so don't confuse that with the owner of the property. The owner of this particular opportunity is you. And again, that goes back more when people are on teams, that they can designate who the opportunity is for. Here is where you're going to have already put your contact in to the contact database. So once you put them in, you can certainly come in and select your client. So you can select your client out of the database. And if they have a co-buyer or a co-lister, here is where you'd be able to put their information. Now, the opportunity name is important because, again, it's one of the easy ways to search for an opportunity is the opportunity name. And if you know the address that the person is purchasing, this is a great place to put as the opportunity name. If you're just cultivating the buyer and you don't know yet, you can put the buyer's name and then change it later on. But as soon as you have a property address to define this to, I definitely recommend making the opportunity name the listing address of the property that they're purchasing. Maybe you just name it whatever that is. The other little quick step here is you can actually tag your opportunity as well. So you can create little groups of different opportunities. And one of the good things to do about this is possibly your return on investment. So if this particular opportunity maybe came from a Facebook ad, or came from Zillow, or came from some other sort of lead generation that you did, cold calling, prospecting, whatever it is, you can actually tag it a specific thing for yourself so that you know what it is. These fields down here, the only one that is absolutely mandatory, and you'll notice because it has a little red asterisk, is the commission rate. So that is the commission rate for your side of the transaction only, regardless of whether you are representing both sides or who it is that you have as a total piece to the file. This is only looking for, in my case, because I made this a buyer opportunity, the commission for just the buyer side of the transaction. So note that if you have both sides, you will have 2 opportunities and 2 commissions because you're wanting to keep track of your business as listings and buyers. So in that case, you would have 1 for each. This information here, again, the more you have, the better, but if you don't have it yet, you will fill it in. But if you're doing your commission, you will have all this information. So if you have not, you'll have created this opportunity long before you get to the commission stage if you're really using this system properly and using it to track your business, because by this point you will have already needed your documents approved and you'd already have sort of moved through a lot of the transaction. So again, you just fill in what you know out of the opportunity. And if you have questions about opportunities, we do have more in-depth classes that are just simply on the opportunity.
And if I can just make a comment, Erin,
yes,
for
please.
Compliance purposes, it really helps if you do change that phase to active. I've noticed in the search engine, if it's in Cultivate or anything before active, it's very difficult for us to find it. So
that is a very good point. I meant to bring that up and I forgot. So definitely make sure that. Now this is where I was talking about the property address, where in order to go forward, it is it's going to make you come back and do this anyway, so you might as well just do it at this stage. This section right here, property, and you'll see there's a little pencil, and it's a little hard to see because it's very faded out, but if you hit that pencil, it's going to open up this box, and you're going to be able to now select the address that you have this property on that they're buying. And this, again, will help in a couple of different ways. It'll help you be able to search, it'll connect the property, and also it'll help the compliance department be able to find your file if you don't submit it. But that's a step we're going to look at in a second too, is that you really need to submit your file as well.
Erin.
Yes.
And the opportunity, what is the budget?
Well, the beauty of this system is that you're really supposed to start these people at the cultivation stage. So you're really supposed to start these files right back at the very beginning when you're just starting to work with them. So you would put down what their budget is for purchasing a home.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, it's their budget.
Okay.
It's their budget, yes. It's their budget.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. So once I have this information here, I can hit save. And now I am ready to do the very first step that goes into this commission. So there's 2 steps to putting this commission in. The first step of putting the commission in is to add the offer. So once you have an offer, whether it's accepted or whatever the stages of it, you can come into this offers tab, and you actually can keep a timeline or a record of all the offers that your buyers put in. And in this market, there may very well be more than one. So you certainly can come in and have a record of all of the different offers that your buyer put in. If this is your listing, you can of course have a record of any offers that were put in on the listing, and then accept the one that is the final offer. So what you'll do very simply, and you'll notice when we click on here, there's not a lot of fields, so it's not asking for a huge amount of information. We're going to go add offer, and you actually can name your offer. So depending on how many offers you have, you may want to name it accordingly. We're going to hit create. Once we hit create, we're going to be on this first screen, which only simply asks, what is the date of the offer? And again, it's going to ask, what is your estimated closing date? And when you get to the contract stage, you should really have an idea of the estimated closing date, or even on the accepted offer, you should have an idea of that. And this is important for us as an organization to really be able to keep track of what business we have going on. So if we don't know what's closing in the future, we don't really have a good predictor of our own cash flow, and neither do you. So really knowing when these properties are going to close and having these commissions submitted within 24 hours to 48 hours of your contract is really important, because it helps all of us have a very good idea of what's happening. And in a shifting market, it's very important to know where business is coming from and what we have on the books at all times. So once you put in that estimated closing date, you also, from here now, can enter the property address a second time. So if it is in the MLS, or it's a Keller Williams listing rather, whether it's yours or somebody else's, you can select it from KWLS by just simply searching for the address. And sometimes on the right, you have to go to all listings. If it's not your listing, you may have to select all. But this is going to give you every Keller Williams address in the whole country. So this is if it's a Keller Williams address. If it is not a Keller Williams listing, again, you can start to put the information in right here under property address. But it's nice if it is in KWLS because it'll pull some of the information over for you. So that is all that's on this first page. Literally, you're just putting in the estimated closing date, and the property address is really all this first page is looking at. So the second part, we're going to see this big blue button right here that says parties, and that's how we get to the next page. And all this page is asking for is the name of the party on the other side. So you'll notice it pulls in your side automatically from the opportunity. So it pulls in any of their information that you've put in automatically from the opportunity. And it's really just looking for who's selling the property on the other side. And again, just look for the red asterisks because those are the fields that are mandatory. The rest of this information is just for you if you want to add it in. And then down at the bottom, again, your information shows up as who's representing that side. And you're just going to put the name of the agent who is representing the other side. So you'll just put their name in here. You can put their contact information if you want to. But again, we're just looking for that red asterisk field so that we know what is mandatory. The next page is terms. Now, for some reason, when I hit that button, it brings me down to the bottom of the page. So I just kind of scroll up to the top. And this is where you're essentially going to just put in how much money is being put down on the house, what are they financing, and what is the sale price. So here's where obviously it'll match the fields that we already have on our purchase offer. So you could put on here whatever it is. Say they're putting down $20,000, and this is including the down payment and any cash upon closing. It's combined in this cash field. So whatever they're not mortgaging is what would go in cash. And if it was a full cash deal, of course, then the whole amount would go in cash. So let's say that they are putting $20,000 down, they're financing $180,000, and it's a $200,000 sale. You'll see that this information is here. Earnest money is not really something that we do in this area, and most of the rest of this page is actually things that are not really terribly customary in the area that we do business. So here we've got, again, earnest money, option fees, termination options. Again, those really are not things that we are very customary in this area. And this down here is not a seller concession. Don't mistake this for a seller concession. It's seller contributions. So it's if the seller is physically contributing any money to this is where this would go. So this is this information here. Essentially just the terms is all that you're really concerned with on this. And one last quick page. This is where you actually can share this offer with your client in the offers section here, and I'll show you that too. You'll be able to share this with them. So what you can do is you can put down pros and cons of the deal. You can write them a little synopsis of whatever's going on in the deal. And in the near future, you're actually going to be able to share this section right through the app. So that's why this will be important coming soon, is that right through your mobile app, you'll be able to send the offer to your clients and they can view it right on their phone, and you can make any comments to them that you want to. So what the pros are, the cons are, and a little summary of the deal. But again, this page is fully optional. So if you're not interested in filling that out, you don't have to. And I'm going to hit save. And those are the 4 pieces to submitting your offer, which is the first step in this commission process. And now you'll see that I start to build a timeline of my offers, and it gives me a quick snapshot of the offer, and I would have them all listed here. And if I click the little dots next to the reject button, I do have some things. I can add some negotiations. I can edit the offer. I can add that analysis if I did not add that page. I can send it to my client through here. So I can send them exactly what I see. And I can also send a copy to myself if I want to, but I could send them the offer right through here if I chose to. Or I can remove it if I need to remove it. But I would keep them all here and either just accept them or reject them, depending on whether or not they were the offer that was accepted or rejected. So since this is the offer that I need to move forward on the commission with, I am going to hit accept, and I'm going to accept this offer as the offer that we're moving forward on. And now you're going to notice two things. You're going to notice that next to offers, it says you have one offer because that's what you have. And now this commissions button is open. So now that the commissions button is open, you'll be able to go in and now add what we call the commission, or what used to be the green sheet. This is what gets submitted to your MCA, is this page right here. And it tells you the sale price that you put in, the commission rate, total commission, total units. It gives you all this information, and it'll tell you exactly what pieces you're missing too. Over here on the right-hand side under the submit button, it's very clear as to anything that's missing. It warns you and lets you know so that you're not guessing as to what pieces are missing from the commission. So under general information, I'm going to hit this button here that says edit general information because it is telling me that I'm missing the contract date. So again, it's going to show me my sales price, my commission, my units, and I'm going to put in my contract date, which opens below it. So it shows me my contract date. Again, it brings over my estimated closing date from the other page. You can't even change it here, so make sure that on the offer page that you've put that information in correctly. And let's just say for the first scenario here that nothing here has changed. This is the sale price. I'm on the buyer side of the transaction myself, so I'm not splitting it because I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And this is just me representing the buyer. I'm going to save my changes. And now it's going to show me all my information. So it's going to actually give me a payment breakdown with my royalty taken out, my company commission, any deductions that I've decided to put in. It's all going to be here. And if I were to hit edit, I could look through here and I could make my KW Cares donation, my transaction, or any other donations that I wanted to make, and put that here. Now in this section here, this edit agent payment, this is also where you would put in an outside referral. So if you happen to have an outside referral that you were paying to another brokerage, you would hit this edit agent payment. And at the very bottom, you're going to see extra payment options, referrals, bonuses, deductions, concessions, so forth. So this is where you would add an item. You would add a referral. So you would just find the inside or outside referral option. Inside referral is within Keller Williams. Outside referral, of course, is outside of our Keller Williams brokerage. So you would put that, and it just asks for the referral amount. It will ask you to get the tax ID number from the other broker because we do need that. So I would ask for a W-9 from whatever broker you're getting this referral from, because that information is mandatory and you can't bypass that field. So you'll have to put in the tax ID, the broker name, the agent name, the address of the brokerage, their phone number, and put this information in order to be able to submit the referral, because we can't pay it without this information. So it makes it mandatory because we can't go any further on our side as the MCA if we don't have that information. So you would put that in there. Log the referral. That is if you had a referral. Now, does anybody have any questions so far as we go through here?
I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm looking at Linda's command page and in opportunities, and I have listings, I have buyers, and I have leases.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at listings and buyers, and I've got the various processes going across, you know, appointment, active, under contract. What tab is it that I need to go to enter the commission information?
It actually will show in any of those tabs. So any tab you're in is going to have this same menu of stuff right here. There's details, profile, documents, offers. They're all going to have these same tabs. So you would just go to the offers first, submit
No, but what I'm saying
the
is
offer,
like,
and then the commissions tab will open up. But each
right, but what I'm saying is I just want to know how you got to that section where the commissions are, because I see listings and then cultivate, appointment,
you have to
active,
you
under.
have to click into the opportunity. So you have to open up the opportunity that you created in order to access the screen we're looking at now. So you have to just click on
I'm
one.
in the I understand. I'm in the opportunity paradigm, and across the top I have cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and close. It is when you are in the under, and I have 12 in the under contract section. It would
Right.
be so you
In
would
here,
click,
so you would click in here,
right?
and then you would find the one that you were working on.
Now, how can you tell when you're looking at it, Erin, whether or not it's already been submitted properly for commission
When
payment?
if you were to open the opportunity, and I want to go back to the one I was just working on. I don't want to get too lost here. I don't remember what I made it. And I went back too far and I lost myself. So bear with me 1 second.
Well, because the reason I'm asking is, for example, when I go into opportunity, right?
Right.
And let's say I have 12 that are under contract. Within the 12 that are under contract, I have an escrow section, an inspection section, an appraisal section.
Yes, because everybody's is set up differently.
Exactly. Is there a way to determine whether or not something has been gone through the process of submitting the commission? How do you know?
When you're in here, once you see that this commission button is open, when you're in the opportunity, you'll see the button is open, because the button won't be open if you didn't even start it. And then down here, there will not be a button that says submit. It will actually already say imported. So you just have to open the commission button and see if it says that it was submitted or not.
Okay, and what if the commission button is grayed out?
Then that means the offer was never put in and the commission was never processed. If this commissions button is grayed out, that means the offer was never put in and accepted into the offer page.
Huh, okay. I'm confused then. I have 6 that are in escrow, 2 that
We
are in.
can talk about this offline just because you're so
No
new
problem.
to command. We can
Okay.
certainly talk about this offline because you haven't really dived into any of this at all.
Okay,
So we can
no worries.
talk about this a little bit after if you don't mind.
No problem.
Okay.
I was just trying to get to that commissions button and they're all grayed out. So I'm assuming.
That's because that means nobody's put an offer in. That no offers have been submitted in any of the opportunities.
Huh.
That is why the commissions button gets grayed out, is that the offer has not been put in yet. Because that's the first step.
And accepted. You have to accept
Yes.
the offer.
Yes, you
Otherwise,
have to make sure the
it's not.
offer is filled in and it is accepted.
Even if it's under contract, it can still show unaccepted.
Yes, if you don't physically do it, it will.
Okay, okay.
Does anybody else have any questions before I'm going to go into if you have to split a transaction? Okay, so again, if this is good and you're ready, you just hit submit. And that's it, your step is done. But if you were splitting this transaction with somebody else, and again, remember what I said, if you are on both sides of the transaction, you're not splitting it here. You're going to have an opportunity for the listing side, and you're going to have a separate opportunity and commission for the buyer side. This is where if you are a co-buyer agent or a co-listing agent, or again on a team, this is where you would edit the agent payment to split the side. Again, if you're both sides, you're going to have two separate of each piece, two separate opportunities, two separate commissions. So I hope that that makes sense. Here, though, what I'm going to show you is if you are splitting this individual side with somebody, let's say you have this buyer, you have a buyer's agent, and you're splitting it 50-50. This is where you're going to do that. So you're going to go to this section that's in the center here underneath the general information. You're going to go to Edit Agent Payment. And each transaction, each side of a transaction has to equal 1 unit. Each side of a transaction is 1 unit. So if you're representing the buyer side is 1 unit, and that's what it does. But if you're splitting it, let's say you're splitting it 50-50. What I'm going to do is for my first agent here, for myself, I'm going to make it a 0.5 because I'm splitting it 50-50 with somebody else. So I'm going to hit 0.5, and just remember, you do have to hit this button that says Calculate Commission, and see now it's going to change my commission from 5,000 to 2,500 because again, I'm only receiving half of it. I'm splitting the half with someone else. So here now is where I'm going to hit Save Changes. I'm going to save me at 0.5. And now you're actually going to see there's even a little error message over on the side that says, wait a minute, where's the other half of this unit? Well, that's on the bottom. So if you, actually it's on the top now. If you scroll up just a little bit, it's right here. Now it'll tell me I can add another agent. And here is where I'm going to choose the agent within my market center. That's important. It has to be within your market center that you do it in this fashion. If it is outside of your market center, it is an outside referral. If it is within your market center, this is how you would calculate. So I'm going to add the other associate. I'm going to add their units. I'm going to ask them if they want to donate to KW Cares, to KW Kids Can, to any of that. And then I'm going to hit Save. So now we have 2 agents that both have 0.5 of the unit. And now you'll see all my error messages have gone away. And I have a nice, neat little summary here that I can see each agent's side, what the agents are all getting paid. And then when I'm done, I just hit Submit. And when you hit Submit, it comes to the Market Center administrator, and that's where we get a notice that there is a commission that has been submitted for us to review. Now, I will say, and I hope we change this, that once you hit that Submit button, you cannot make a change to this page anymore after that. If something changes, which we understand things do change, you have to just send an email to your MCA and let them know that something changed, whether it was a commission or the appraisal was not right and the price changed, whatever it is, you do have to notify them because this page can't be changed anymore once you hit Submit. So that is that. So now I have my offer and my commission and it's submitted and I'm ready to go on my way. So does anybody have any questions about that or want to see another piece of it? And Lori, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add that makes your life easy.
No, this is outside really of, you know, the address is the big thing. Now that we have to do that for commissions, that really makes a difference, but I'm good.
So does everybody think they can do this?
Yep.
I have somebody in the chat. Gloria, go ahead. You can ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So can I still submit my green sheet? Let's say if the lead paint wasn't going to be signed until the closing table?
Yes.
Okay.
If now there's no, why would your lead paint be being signed at your closing?
Not that that should ever happen.
Yes, wait a minute. I misheard something there.
La 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 la. Good Lord.
Yes, do this regardless of if you have all your documents or not, but have your documents.
I want to cover all my bases just in case.
Yes, you absolutely can and should still do this. Lisa, I will take your question in 1 second, but the one thing that I want to mention, if I did not mention this already, is if you have already done a green sheet, please do not go in and do a commission on top of it. It just duplicates all of my numbers, and then I have duplicate files. If you've already submitted a green sheet, that's fine. Just going forward with any new transactions, come on in and use the commissions. Lisa, did you have a question?
I do. Hi, sorry. Just to, I'm trying to, my dog's gonna annoy me, I'll have to throw her out. The income that's based in front of you, that you see on your name and your opportunities and all discussion, so active, and then you have all that. When you get to your commissions, when you have both sides,
Yeah.
because I know I messed up, that's why, you know, you mentioned me, so you fixed it. But, and I put it in both the green sheet and the other one twice, but the tally for the adjustments of the commissions based on each stages is a very fluid thing, because as something closes, it's going to recalculate itself, correct?
If you move it into the closed stage, yes, you do have to move it into the closed stage yourself,
Oh,
and then it should recalculate.
so your caps that you're paying into, you have to recalculate that yourself? Is that how it
Well,
works?
that'll calculate, that comes automatically from our back-end system, which is called Winmore, once we transmit. That unfortunately is not real time, and that's something that Keller Williams is working on. So if you were to cap today, let's say, until we transmit, your numbers here may not reflect your cap. So that is something that is being addressed and is being worked on currently, because we know that that makes your numbers not as valid. But that's not something that is working in that way just yet.
Okay, because that's the question, because on having both sides of the sale, and if you mess up, it's not, I got paid correctly, it's not that, it's just that, it's just trying to figure out whether or not you're hitting the cap, you're close to the cap, or whatever the case may be. If it's not fluid, then yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So Gloria, the only thing that you have to do when you close is just move it. So, and this is just for your own records. This doesn't do anything for me personally, but if this is your opportunity, you're literally going to just move it from phase to phase. So now once it's under contract, then you just have to look through your under contracts, and then you can move it up to closed.
Okay.
So if you just move it into closed, then it'll show, and that'll be what reflects your numbers.
Okay. It's more to reflect my numbers, not anything
Yes.
else. Okay.
No, if you don't move it, the only thing that does affect us is if files are not in the active status when they need to be approved by compliance, they're very hard to find.
Okay.
That's the only time the status, but it's always good to keep things accurate for your own numbers. And for our side too, if I see something and I see that it's in the under contract phase, it helps me know what's going on, and Lori as well. So the more accurate we can be, the better it is for everybody.
Okay, perfect. And when we want anything special done, when we submit the commission, we just make the note in that little message thing right before we submit it.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good. I think commissions was like the easiest thing in command.
Carmen, you have your hand raised?
Hi, yes. So I'm under contract
Okay.
and I am actually the buyer.
Okay.
Does that change the commissions?
Is it your primary residence?
It's going to be.
Okay, we can talk about that offline because it will.
Okay.
Do the commission as is, but make me a note in the notes that it's your primary residence, and we'll talk about that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do I have any other questions? Does everybody think that they can do this and do them on time?
I have a question, Erin, that agents ask me a lot. If the deal falls, they don't have to start a new opportunity because they can go in and layer over another set of checklist items for their documents. So then do they just go and reject the original offer and then put in a new offer, and then
They do, but they have to tell us still that they did it, because I still have to kill it on my side and
so you have
terminate
to kill the commission part of it. Okay.
Yeah, so what you'll do is you'll come into the offer and you can actually change the response to the offer with the 3 little dots. You can either remove it or you can hit change response.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to actually be notified before you can even change the response. So you have to notify your MCA. So in New City, it would be Ray. In Kingston, it'd be Maureen. And in Middletown, myself. We will delete it from our side. Then this change response will be be able to be opened up. And you'll be able to.
Can you add a new offer there now with the change response is great. So you can
Absolutely
actually go in. Okay, so it's a matter of you having to just negate that commission so that they can do another one.
Yes, and as soon as we negate the commission, you should be able to then change the response and accept the appropriate one and come back in and redo a commission if that's what happens.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Great, well, I thank everybody for being here, and good luck on your commission.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.